So last we left off with True, she said that she pulled a book off of a shelf that would change everything. We don't know what that book is. We don't know why it changes everything. We're kind of left on a cliffhanger. So we're going to pick up today on chapter 8. It's a long one, so we're going to actually split it into 2 days. So this is the first half of chapter 8. I'm not sure why I took my discovery home with me. I probably should have just given it to Aunt True or to my dad. By the time I found the envelope tucked inside an old copy of Charlotte's Web, though, they were already in a meeting with their accountant. And Danny was double parked outside honking his horn, so I just stuffed the envelope in my backpack, grabbed the dog, and left. Dinner was the usual Magnificent Seven mayhem, as my father used to call it before Black Monday. "Toot soup!" cried Danny as Hatcher ladled some into his bowl. "Don't start," my mother warned. Too late. My little sisters were already giggling. Toot soup is what my brothers call bean soup because the inevitable sound it produces. Knowing we'd be busy with the first day of school, Aunt True had made it a point for us and dropped it by along with a salad and some bread. Eyes dancing behind her sparkly pink glasses, Pippa spooned up a bite, then made a rude noise. Lawrence snickered. "Pipster," said my mother severely. "Do you want to eat in a barn with Miss Maple?" Pippa thought this was a great idea. Between trying to settle her down, the Hatcher and Danny's instant replay of their first wrestling practices, and Lauren's glowing report on her new friend Annie, I was squeezed out of the dinner conversation as usual. I brought the envelope home with me to the table, but even if I had the opportunity to tell everybody about it, in the end something held me back. I decided to keep the secret to myself for just a little bit longer. After dinner, I went directly upstairs. One of the only good things about moving to Pumpkin Falls is Gramps and Lola's house. The house Dad grew up in is so big, half the town could move in and we never bump into each other. All of us kids have a bedroom of our own, and there are still a couple left over. Hatcher and Danny have taken over the entire third floor, and I even have my own bathroom, which was where I was headed. It's the warmest spot in the entire house. Locking the door behind me, I sat down on the floor by the radiator. It's one of the old steam heat kind, like the others in the house. They hiss and rattle and clink so much it sounds like a bunch of baby dragons are on the loose. But they do the trick as far as keeping the house warm, which I guess is the main thing when you live in a climate as cold as this one. I leaned back against the clawfoot tub and pulled the envelope out of my pocket. It was sealed shut, and as far as I could tell, had never been opened. Why would someone leave a letter stuck in an old copy of Charlotte's Web? Had they meant to mail it and forgotten? Or did they leave it there deliberately for someone to find? There wasn't an address on the envelope or even a real name. It's just a capital letter B. But the envelope had a stamp on it like it was ready to send. I traced the B on the front with my forefinger, wondering if I should open it. I was pretty sure that's some sort of crime, though. Mail tampering or interfering with the U.S. Postal Service or something. I didn't want to get arrested. On the other hand, if I didn't open it, how was I supposed to figure out who it was meant for? What if it were something important? "Truly?" I jumped as someone hammered on the door. It was my brother. "Hatcher!" I hollered. "You about scared me to death." "Quit barking. Someone's on the phone for you." I scrambled to my feet and returned the envelope to my back pocket. Maybe it was Mackenzie. She'd know what to do. But it wasn't Mackenzie. It was Cha-Cha. "I'm calling to see if you want to sign up for a practice slot," she said. "They're going fast." Practice slot for cotillion. I had no idea what she was talking about. "Didn't Miss Ivy tell you about cotillion?" she asked as I hesitated. Maybe? I'd come home with a stack of newsletters and sign-up sheets and flyers, all of which were still in my backpack upstairs in my room. I, meanwhile, was now perched on a rickety old wooden chair in a tiny closet tucked under the front hall stairs. The closet contained the only landline in the house, an ancient rotary-style phone that looked like a relic from some sort of old movie. Dad says it's the same one that was here when he was a kid, and that it's always been in the makeshift phone booth under the stairs. Gramps and Lola really aren't much for change. "So here's the deal," Cha-Cha continued. "All middle schoolers at Daniel Webster are required to attend cotillion." "Which is?" I prodded a stack of moldy phone books with my toe of my sneaker. Above me, a bear bowl dangled from the ceiling. Not exactly the kind of place for lingering conversation. It's a tradition in Pumpkin Falls. My mom calls it a rite of passage. Cotillion is a series of dance classes that we all take at school, and then the big finale is during the winter festival, and we all get to show off what we've learned at the town's annual dance. I had no idea how to respond. A dance that the entire town went to. What planet was I on? We're lucky, Cha-Cha continued. Now that we're in middle school, I get to do ballroom instead of dumb square dance like the younger kids have to do. Anyway, it's going to be starting up soon. You're telling me I have to take ballroom dance class. I could feel the panic rising in me. Dancing is practically at the top of the list of things I'm not good at. You're kidding, right? Cha-Cha was very quiet. Uh-oh, I thought. Did I just insult her? Apparently not. Nope, I'm not kidding, she said cheerfully. In fact, my parents are the ones teaching it. I could hear in the background. I could hear music in the background and people talking. Where are you? I'm at the Starlight. Anyway, in addition to the class at school, everyone's required to attend 2 private practice sessions here at the studio with my parents. There's no charge, of course. Of course, I echoed, still feeling stunned. So, how does the Saturday after next sound? Fine, I guess, I said, wondering whether I should tell Cha-Cha about the letter. I pulled it out of my back pocket. Oops, gotta go, she said, before I could bring it up. There's a call on the other line. I'll pencil you in for 11:30. Let me know if that doesn't work, okay? See you tomorrow. But she hung up. I sighed and replaced the receiver, turned out the light, and headed back upstairs. I hesitated in front of the door leading to the 3rd floor, but a series of random thumps from above signaled that my brothers were practicing their wrestling moves. It probably smelled like boys' locker room up there. Plus, they get cranky when they're interrupted. I'll talk to Hatcher later. Truly! I poked my head into my sister's bathroom to see my mother holding up a towel for Pippa. Pippa's old enough to get ready for bed on her own, but she likes to have Mom help her. I guess it's part of being the baby of the family, I guess. How was your first day, sweetie? My mother asks as Pippa climbs out of the tub. I didn't get to talk to you much at dinner. Sometimes it feels like I'm more in stealth mode at home than really anywhere else. It was okay, I replied. You make any new friends? I shrugged. Maybe. My mother smiled. Good, you can tell me all about it in the morning. I need to get a start on my homework once I'm done here. Oh, and Hatcher said he has a bunch of forms for me to sign, so you probably do too. Go ahead and leave them on the kitchen table for me, okay? I nodded. Say goodnight to Truly. My mother gave my little sister a nudge, and she trotted obediently over, holding her arms up for a hug. I bent down and embraced her gingerly, since she was still pretty damp. She smelled good, though, and I nuzzled her hair. Pippa might be a drama queen, but I love her anyway. Good night, Pip, I said. Good night, Truly. I headed down the hall to my room, pausing by Lauren's door. It was open just a crack, and a strange noise was coming from the other side. I peeked in to see her flopped on her stomach on her bed, reading. No big surprise there. That was Lauren's usual after-dinner routine. And before-dinner routine, and every other time of the day routine. She was patting her rabbit Thumper with one hand while she turned the pages of the book with the other. She didn't look up. When Lauren was engrossed in a book, World War III could start, and she wouldn't even notice. Thumper was curled beside her, wearing a doll-sized nightgown and a resigned expression. My sister loves dressing up her pets. She put a baseball cap on Miss Maple, too, who was lying on the braided rug next to the bed, keeping a wary eye on the source of the strange noise. A clear plastic hamster ball rocketing around the room and periodically crashing into furniture. Nibbles the hamster was enthusiastic about exercise. Miss Maple heaved herself to her feet when she spotted me. I motioned her to stay, but she ignored me. Toenails clicking briskly across the bare wooden floor, she shook off her baseball cap and followed me down the hall to my bedroom. I paused at the door and looked down at her, frowning. No, Miss Maple, I told her firmly. No dogs allowed in here. Miss Maple sat. Go see Lauren, I told her. She didn't budge. My sister is the animal lover in the family, not me. It's not that I don't like animals, I do. From a distance. Which is maybe one reason why I like bird watching so much. Wild birds don't shed, and they don't need to be walked, or have doggy breath, or cages, or litter boxes, and all that cleaning. Miss Maple finally gave a tiny little whine. One that I interpreted to mean, I'm afraid of the hamster ball, and I don't want to be dressed up in people clothes, and I need a place where I can go into stealth mode too. Oh, fine, I say, relenting. You can come in, but just this once. All right, we'll stop here for today. We made it through most of our chapter 8, but we'll finish the rest tomorrow. So respond by telling me what's going on in the book. What kind of phone call would Truly get? What's going on in your head? What sort of thoughts do you have about this chapter and even the discovery that she made? And what feelings do you have in your heart?